Hello, in this video I'm going to continue talking about Natal Sun in Aquarius. This is part 2. I have part 1. Please go into my playlist. In fact, it should be coming up on the screen now if you want to go and listen to part 1 just in case you miss it. So yeah, in this video I'm going to talk about the sadder side of Aquarians and Aquarius in love, as well as the Aquarian parent. So yes, I'm going to begin with the Aquarian in love. So when you're in love, you like to remain independent unless any other planetary placements and aspects in your chart changes this. You tend not to be paternal or maternal, so you must ensure compatibility between you and any partner. Understanding is needed on both sides if your relationship is to stand the test of time. You don't like feeling trapped, so you need a partner that will, respect this. They need to learn that you need a partner who's freedom loving, maybe independent themselves, who can love you and let you go off into the world and do whatever it is you need to do, fight for whatever injustice you need to fight for. And this is how you return home every night, basically, because if you don't have someone who lets you be free, you will slowly drift away from the relationship. As I mentioned in part 1, it's good to be fixed in who you are, solar Aquarius, but only if you allow yourself to be flexible to take on board good advice. As you're not always right, listen to what your partners, even what your family, friends and work colleagues are saying, as sometimes because of your aversion to genuine emotional connection and intimacy, you can miss the underlying emotions in words used during communications and disagreements with your loved ones. Research what someone has told you if need be, because sometimes, so the Aquarians, you like to see the facts, and because you can be disconnected from your emotions until when you work them out, you like to see things written down, so sometimes you may not take others at that word. So go, if someone says they think you're repressing your emotions, go and research and see, look at symptoms, what are the 10 symptoms of emotional repression, etc., and then slowly take the steps to change yourselves, because you've had the advice and then you've gone to get your facts. So this is how you keep yourself progressive, because I really don't want you to become fixed in your past. Learning to deal with your emotions is how you move into the higher vibrations of Aquarian energy. When you have your sun in Aquarius, you will benefit from a practice of introspection and self-awareness, as this will allow you to evolve into the beautiful water bearer you were incarnated to be. You have the gift of being able to truly help others, and to carry the weight of the collective unconscious, helping to heal and progress and transcend its lower desires. Also, you have a great gift of helping others through their emotional fortress, empathetically instead of sympathetically, but first you need to learn to do this for yourself. The reason why you can be detached is that you have some deep karmatic wounds that you need to heal, but the question is, are you going to train yourself to be comfortable with your emotions enough to the extent that you can uncover your ancient wounds, understand, accept, heal and move on from them? If you don't believe in karma and all of that, this can just be stuff that happened in this life, in your youth and early adult years, that you haven't gotten over. Working through them will help you to become truly empathetic, rather than just rationally, dealing with emotions, giving sympathy because you think it's what's meant to be done. Empathy is all about putting yourself in another person's shoes, and the only way you can do that is when you've put yourself in your own shoes, metaphorically speaking, and deal with the depth of your emotions. Truth be told, some natal Aquarians prefer to live alone, so can have some very unconventional relationship setups. You are the person who could have been in a romantic relationship with someone for 20 years, be married and never lived with them. You can be very touchy and anxious about your emotions, using your logic to mask this. Often your emotional distance causes a lot of debates and conflicts in all your relationships, not only just your romantic relationship. If you are honest about who you are, your partner will understand you more. But the best thing I recommend is trying to compromise and pick someone from the outset who can really accept you for who you are on the inside, not for who they, you know, want you to be or who you are pretending to be in any given moment. Now, some questions that will help you dealing with your emotions and helping your romantic relationships work is: why do you not like your emotions? Did someone hurt you? Were your parents cruel or distant? Why is it you wish to ignore emotions and view things analytically? Are you really cold, or what is it you're really scared of? And like I said at the beginning in part 1, you know, you're scared of emotional attachment and intimacy. You know, you feel at odds with emotions because they're not as rational to predict as, say, a scientific theory or a technological app or something like that. When you are solar Aquarian, in general, you are faithful and loyal. However, aspects to Venus, Mars and Neptune and Uranus in the signs of Gemini, Libra, Sagittarius can change your ability to commit, or Pisces as well. Now, the Aquarian parent. When you are a parent, this fact can make you feel trapped. Let your children know you love and care for them. It's very important, as kids need that. Also explain and be truthful to them about why you are the way you are and the reason for your need for space at times, as kids also love honesty and they need that too. And your kids will endear to you more, giving you space, knowing that you will provide them with your time when you can. You prefer your children to be independent, yet you will impart on them your intellectual, philosophical or scientific knowledge, or at least point your children in the right direction to the tools they need to advance their careers, their rationality and their personal development. Let your children be kids and have their own interests and opinions. Yes, it's good to be wise in some respects, becoming older in your thinking at a ripe age, but you can still and should have fun. Entertainment should be limited but never excluded. All things in life, even parts of our shadow, need to be equally expressed to live a balanced life. Sometimes you like to quiz your children about their thinking, asking them to adjust their habits, but when they return the favour, you can be very fixed in your response, never taking their wishes on board. Deep down, you want to be close with your kids, especially when you notice the closeness and affection they have with other family members. You just don't know how to be. Get support to get over this and any other of your repressions, and be honest with your family members, and they will try and help you, as they wish to have a better connection with you too. No matter how it may seem on the surface, as you know, we all hide under the mask of pretense. Aquarian children are quick learners, have charm, often bossy, love knowledge, like to be alone at times rather than with their friends. Encouraging your Aquarian child to be questioning and following their intuition will set them off for good stead in life. Also make them aware that it's good to look after your emotional health and well-being. Teach the Aquarian child self-awareness techniques such as meditation, yoga, tai chi or any other flowing exercise which will help them be in tune with their body and therefore their emotions, as solar Aquarians are more in tune with their mind than anything else. So anything that can bring the solar Aquarian out of their mind is good for their overall well-being. Aquarian children are born actors, music geniuses, liking to play instruments or sing. The Aquarian child needs to be taught discipline and focus though, as they can sometimes be overly spontaneous, sometimes working to perfection. You know, excellent school reports, everything's fine, then the next minute they're mediocre. The Aquarian child needs to be taught the benefits of consistent and practical effort over time, and this is where, you know, the energy of Saturn can help you temper the Uranus needs to be fast thinking, moving from one thing to the next. Never make your Aquarius child give up their spontaneity completely, as this is where the originality and inspirational ideas originate from. Although you should teach them how to balance and express all aspects of their personality. The Aquarius child must be trained to follow through in their ideas and interests, rather than moving to the next one each time the electric energy of Uranus strikes, or they end up being a drifter, moving from one job or interest to the next without committing to anything, due to their need to move. After all, Aquarius energy is an air sign, a fixed one, but still airy, still likes motion, still likes to, you know, be mutable and move around and stuff. What I recommend is, firstly, Teach your child, Aquarian child, to keep a journal every time Uranus strikes. Write down the ideas in there so they don't fear that they're going to lose the idea. But as you know, it is good to dream. I do recommend that you train your child to have maybe 1, 2 or maybe 5, in the case of Aquarian child, solid interests that they follow through for the rest of their life. So they may have an interest in chess, football, netball, video gaming, music, acting, science, crazy, you know, science projects, be a bit philosophical as well. Whatever it is, make sure to follow at least 2 or 3 of their interests throughout their life, you know, up until they're 18, even if they protest, because this will give them a solid foundation for life and stopping them from, you know, just falling into drifting and stuff. Now I'm going to end this video talking about the sadder side of natal sun in Aquarius. A severely adverse sun in Aquarius can create an individual that wants to take gifts from the world rather than give gifts to the world. The dark Aquarian can not only be self-destructive but seek to destroy the goodness in others as a result of their own fall from grace, and because of their lack of forgiveness for themselves can create cults or use religious practices in debased ways. The sense of having to help the collective can be hard to bear, so the solar Aquarian can turn to substance abuse, and this is when the Aquarian shadow ego is enlarged to create the ulterior motives in all their actions. This can be the position of the corrupt politician, business leader. Sometimes a strong energy which is present in Aquarian vibrations can bring up great guilt, going back to what I said earlier about ancient wounds. But if you deal with your emotions, this is how you can overcome your burdens. Running into conformity and addiction won't help you in the long run to control. Healing and managing your emotional psychological will help you to understand and control the strong Aquarian vibration of wanting to help the collective. And maybe you can get into taking baby steps, because I know sometimes Uranus can bring you really vast visions and you think, oh, how could I bring this into reality? I don't have the money, I don't have the job, I don't have the skills, and then you just get overwhelmed, and this is what can lead you into toxic substances and relationships. But you know, if you just learn to be gentle with yourself, taking it day by day to get all the skills you need, you know, and remember everyone's got free will, so you don't actually have to become a humanitarian if that's what you don't really want to do. Astrologers such as Marshall Moore and Mark Douglas in their book Astrology, the Divine Science states Aquarians are much more dynamic than they seem on first sight. If your sun is in Aquarius, and if you choose to live up to your highest potential by learning to be empathetic, connecting with others after you first heal your own emotional turbulences, then you will have this wizard or messiah-like quality which allows you to move obstacles others couldn't even surmount if you learn to work with the laws of nature. Saturn, Aquarius co-ruler, brings the law, and Uranus brings the inventive and the visionary advancements. So learn to work with both energies, learn to work with yourself, learn not to feel guilty if you don't want to, you know, be an activist, be a humanitarian. You know, make the decision on how big you want to use your Uranus energy. Do you just want to help your family? Do you just want to help your community? Because all these things will help to uplift humanity overall anyway. When you have your natal sun in Aquarius, your purpose is to think on a global or a community scale, giving up the egotistical for the universal, giving up selfishness for the union of the collective. One of your biggest plus of having Saturn as your co-ruler is that you can work on your own without praise. You see the end product of your labour as your reward. To master displacement of natal sun in Aquarius, avoid the depressive and apathic influences of Saturn. Instead, take heed of the lessons Saturn and Capricorn are trying to give you in your life experiences. Also, avoid getting lost in intellectual debate. Instead, focus in taking practical action. Instead, focus on taking the practical are broad-minded. Know that there are many planets and stars in the universe, and that Earth and those stars that orbit Earth are just one of the fishes in a vast pond of many universal fishes, so to speak. You are not power hungry in general when you reach the higher echelon of human expression, and because of this, others trust in you and you can be an excellent leader. Many people choose to elect you into influential positions in society. You don't let your ego run away with you as you did in your lowest expression. You transcend the need to control your emotions, and this opens you up to abundant flow, revitalizing your life force energy. You become an individual and wish to give others the chance to be reborn into their authentic natures as you fiercely express yours. You know that real change in society comes from proving fair access to all society's amenities for all people, regardless of gender, race, creed or beliefs. Now I just want to finish this video and Natal Sun in Aquarius by just going into briefly about the esoteric meaning. So in part 1 I mentioned that Jupiter is the esoteric rule of Aquarius. We know that Jupiter brings expansion to abstract ideas. So when you have Aquarian energy in your natal chart, Jupiter gives you a spiritual undertone to all your Aquarian ideas, hence why you want to, hence why the focus is on bringing the collective together, fighting injustice and being an activist and stuff like that, being charitable. It's because the influence of Jupiter gives you higher and collective meaning to the Aquarian energy, to answer not only how can I better myself, but how can I better my family, community or humanity at large. Aquarians tend to know that the creative, intellectual, spiritual, religious and all knowledge should be shared. It belongs to no one person but to all. Aquarius energy at its highest can remain detached, free from the constraints of emotion, as they know feelings and social and as they know excessive emotion and undoubt and unhealed with emotions and feelings and falling into social conformity will lead individuals and therefore the collective further away from the truth. Aquarius energy is here to set truth into motion. It does this by remaining somewhat aloof and detached from human affairs. It does not mean that Aquarians are not capable of experiencing intense emotions. Aquarian energy just knows it's best not to get lost in emotional or any other detrimental state of mind. However, you must remember that it's not wrong to experience emotions, but letting them control your life either by repressing them or really just living in them and being over, responding all the time out of emotions is not a good thing, because it just keeps you going around in cycles. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, Natal Sun in Aquarius part 2. Please check out part 1. Please subscribe. Take care. Bye bye.